the biggest, heaviest, longest, and also most expensive Batis lens of them all in the whole series. But is it any good though? Before we get started, I'm just gonna say thank you so incredibly much for all the immense support that you guys are giving me here through this channel. You guys are crushing it. Like, you are subscribing like crazy. You're giving me thumbs up, you give me feedback, you give me comments, you are supporting me through the affiliate links in my description and everything. So I highly praise all of you that are here watching me and having a good time. And if you're new here, I'm just gonna do a quick introduction for you, you know, because maybe you don't know who I am and you're like, dude, who's that dude? And my name is Peter, I am from Sweden, and right now I'm speaking English, but if I don't like try to speak as good English as I can, then my English would probably sound something like this, you know. I would speak a little bit of Swedish English. Let's talk about this thing, shall we? So the build quality of this lens is on par of all the other Batis lenses that I've tried so far. It doesn't have any kind of buttons or switches on it, and the only thing that you have is the signature OLED screen here up top and the focus ring, which is a huge focus ring on this lens compared to the other ones. The design of the Batis series is something that I like. I think they look really cool, and the casing around the lens is made entirely out of metal, which is also like a way to give it this premium feeling to it. The lens weighs 614 grams, so it's not, again, grams to pounds. Pounds to, what? 1.3 pounds. Okay. I wouldn't say that it's a heavy lens, especially not if you compare it to the 135G Master lens, which is almost at 1 kilo. But then again, the size of this lens will make it front heavy when you have it mounted to your camera. Personally, I do not like the focus ring on the Batis series because I do think that the choice of rubber is a really bad choice, because when you are putting your fingers like doing like this, your fingers are actually like sliding on the focus ring, and that is like one of the biggest caveats that I have with the Batis series. And I also think it feels cheap, and when you put it down in your camera bag, it will gather dust on the focus ring. So this is gonna be like a how do you say that? Dust sucker? What I really like about this lens and every other lens in the Batis series is that it has this weather sealing gasket here in the back, and that is something that I think more lenses should have, because that makes you sleep really calm at night. The focusing distance is 87 centimeters or 34 inches. Again, for all you Americans out there. So it's almost as close as a regular 85mm lens, which usually has 85 centimeters as close focusing distance, and it will really allow you to blur out that background when you're shooting with it wide open. So, as they say in France, what about the image performance, eh? They probably don't say it that way, but it sounds kind of funny, you know? It sounds El François. As with all the Batis lenses that I've tried so far, this lens is no exception. This is extremely sharp, wide open. But if you stop the lens down to f4, then the image gets even sharper than it is at f2.8, and that is just completely insane because it's really sharp at f2.8. So when I was looking through the images, I almost got cut in my eye because the image was so sharp as I was like looking through them. I did test this out against the 7200 f4 lens that I got to see which of the two lenses actually is the sharpest. And you know, the 7200 is a really sharp lens, and if you want to watch that review, you can check it out right here because, you know, it's a really good one. So shooting both lenses at f4, I actually thought that the 7200 would be the sharpest one, but the Batis 135 is way sharper. Like, it is a really sharp lens. When it comes to the bokeh of this lens, do you say it like that? Bokeh or bookie or bookie or bokeh? as we say in Sweden. Anyway, it will give you a really nice blurred out background when you shoot with it wide open, but personally I don't think that this lens looks any better than the 85mm. But again, bokeh is a really subjective thing, and I will not like dive deeper into that, so I'm gonna leave that decision up to you. Okay? The autofocus is blazing fast as expected in the Batis series because all the other lenses is really fast as well. And IAF works great as well, so, you know, nothing unexpected here. So, the video performance of this lens is where I think that this lens really shines through, because you have the built-in stabilization, or optical steady shot as Sony calls it, and that basically allows you to get those really steady shots when you're shooting with this lens handheld. And since you have that wide 2.8 aperture, you can also get some really cinematic looking footage with this lens. So this lens is producing some really good looking images and videos, and is probably like mainly aimed towards portrait photographers or wedding photographers, but personally I do think that this lens is a really unnecessary lens. I mean, considering the price of this lens, the Sony G Master 135 is not that much more expensive. I think it's like $100 or $200, and then you get that one instead with an extra stop of light. And you can also go for the Sony GM70-200 to get that like way more versatile lens than this lens is. So, you know, I would not recommend you to buy this lens. I would probably recommend you for either the 70-200 or the 135 G Master lens instead. But as always, I would love to hear what you think. Would you buy this lens, or would you buy another lens? You know, what would be your personal choice if you were to buy a lens in this focal length? Would you go for a zoom lens, or would you go for the prime lens? Drop a comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up because it does help a lot, so thank you so much. And if you want to buy any kind of camera gear that I use here on this channel, I put a link to everything that I use down below, so you can just go in there, click through, purchase something on Amazon, and I will get a small kickback off that, and you support this channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, just FYI, so thank you for that in advance. And if you haven't subscribed yet, that'd be really appreciated as well. So thank you for that. And, you know, until next time, I guess I'm gonna show you something. Okay, hang on. This is what we're gonna review next. If you watched all the way until now, thank you so much. Okay, ha det bra. Hej.